Greetings, everybody. Welcome back to the Packback Leaderboard update for week 5. So there's 8 weeks. We got 3 left. We're in the middle of week 6. And we're going to start with ethics, business ethics, 30-70. We're going to do a little bit different this week. We'll make a few comments, but we'll try to keep it brief. All right, Lindsay, who came in at number 5?
Dakota Fox.
Dakota Fox, our favorite 70s private investigator. Dakota Fox, he's got a Trans Am and he's out solving crimes. Number 4.
Emily Sprayberry.
Emily Sprayberry. Emily, you have really done a fine job this summer with your discussions and replies, but I've had you in class before. You generally do good work, so thank you. Now, number 3, who came in bronze, Lindsay?
Antonio Ponce.
Antonio Ponce. Now, he had an interesting post about gathering in large groups. Is it ethical? You know, that's a good question. People generally have the freedom to do what they want to do, unless your good time impacts somebody else's good time. That's the David Williams rule for what you ought to do. Have a good time unless it's impacting somebody else's good time. So, because, the spread of the virus everywhere, not everywhere, but in the South and West, and especially in Georgia, we never did go like this. It dipped and now it's going back up. So, is it right? Is it wrong? Is it ethical? I wish you wouldn't do it, because I'd like to have football this year. So, I think in that case, when you're helping the spread of the virus, your good time's getting in the way of my good time. So therefore, you make me angry. Wear a mask. Don't be stupid. Go with science. All right? You can get a beer later. So that was good. About defying science and getting in large groups. Number 2, Lindsay. Who was number 2?
Savannah Brock.
Savannah Brock. My handwriting is like a baby. Everybody should have better handwriting. She had a nice question about an unsought good. And in marketing, an unsought good would be like a life insurance. Everybody's going to die, but people don't want to think about it. They don't want to buy life insurance. Funeral services are the same. Everybody's going to need funeral services, but most people don't prepay and plan out their funeral services. So she was asking, is it ethical for funerals to cost so much? Because you kind of have people at a bind, and they're in this sad state, and you take advantage of them. Maybe. Of course, you could have taken care of that ahead of time, but you didn't. So that's a good question. It's something to think about. What if you have a terrible terminal disease? There's a drug that'll help, but you don't have insurance at your job or at home, and you can't afford it. Do you just die, even though there's something available that would help you? Remember, the study of business ethics is not to tell you what is always right, what is always wrong. It should give you some tools so you can decide in each individual instance. So, Savannah, thanks for that. That was a good one. Who was number 1, Lindsay?
Cynthia Evans by a lot.
Cynthia Evans by a lot. Cynthia not only posted a good question, but she responded to 9. So rather, she's doing not just the minimum.
2 questions.
Oh, 2 questions, sorry. So, she had a good question. I won't recap it here because you can read it, but she had a couple. One of them was about a service recovery, about a business you won't do business with because they act in a way you don't like, or they did something to you. And in marketing, that is a topic of study. I will not trade with a company that has, maybe they didn't do it to me individually, but they treat others unfairly. I do not shop with BP because of the Macondo well that blew up in the Gulf of Mexico. I grew up on the Gulf of Mexico. I have a place down there. I love the beach. I love the Gulf of Mexico. I'll never trade with BP ever again because of the way they acted about the whole thing. But you know, you can have a poor service delivery and you can recover, right? So you have a bad meal and someone can say, I'm going to comp your meal and here's a gift card for next time you come back and we apologize. You could go back, have a good experience, and be even a more loyal customer. That's called the service recovery paradox. She also, she mentioned the airline, and she was asking about doing what you think is right versus maybe what the company wants you to do. So I'll give you another Dr. Williams axiom that I learned from my father. There's never a wrong time to do the right thing. Even if there's a short-term loss for you, long-term, you're going to be better off. And when you look in the mirror, you'll say, hey, you're all right. You did the right thing. All right. So, good one, Cynthia. Thank you. Honorable mention, Lindsay?
We have 2.
2? That's too many, but go ahead.
Well, they're tied.
Oh, they're tied. Okay,
Yeah.
we have a tie.
We have Joanne Haley.
Joanne, it's A-N-N, right?
Yes.
And H-A-I-L-E-Y.
Yes. And we have Caleb Robertson.
C-A?
Mm-hmm.
Caleb Robertson. So, Joanne and Caleb, no awards, but you played for pride. Way to go. And you were almost there, but Dakota, the private investigator, edged you out. Okay, let's move over to the current trends. And you ethics people, hang on, because I have something else to say. All right, so current trends, number 5, Lance.
Caleb Coons. Or sorry, Clayton Coons.
There we go. I did a fair amount in college. Todd Coon, no S on it. So I'm sure you're not related, Caleb, unless you're added an S because you're running from the law. I'm just kidding. Okay, number 4 in current trends, Lance.
Daniela Marquez.
Daniela is a frequent she's frequently on the leaderboard. Good job, Daniela. Number 3,
Savannah Brock.
Savannah Brock. Savannah made the leaderboard in both classes, which she's taking me for 2 classes, and that's too much for anybody. She had a question about textbooks and online textbook codes that she referred to as a quote-unquote scam. I assure you, I graduated from college with my undergraduate bachelor's degree in 1985. 2 points of contention back then were parking, textbooks. Today's 2020. Guarantee if I surveyed every class I have, the 2 issues would be parking and textbooks. It's one of those things. Are they more expensive than they ought to be? Yes. I think that's pretty clear. But, you know, it's a cost of doing business. And there are plenty of options today that we didn't have pre-internet. You would have to use the school bookstore or go to the one in town that was bootlegging the books and or try to get one from somebody or whatever. So that was a good topic, though, and it's been a topic conversation for college students throughout the millennia, probably since the Greeks were first writing books. I don't know that for sure. I made that up. Okay, but that was a good one. Number 2,
Savannah Upton.
another Savannah. It's the Savannah Girls. A.H. Upton. She had a post about social tools and talked about she potentially may have been passed over for a job for somebody who had more experience than her. And I wrote on that post, but I'll say it here. That's going to be a common problem for a college graduate, that they don't have the experience maybe that they're looking for. The job ad asks for 3 to 5 years experience, or if they're already working someplace, somebody else has experience. Now, of course, when you're in that position, you will say, I have more experience than that person, right? So I will just say this, never tell yourself no. If you're thinking about applying for a job, whether internally in your firm or off a job ad, and you say, well, I don't have 3 years experience in that particular position, apply anyway. That's what they're looking for. That's what they like to have. They may not get any applications that have that. Make somebody else tell you no. If you don't apply, then you've told yourself no. And that's no way to get ahead. Trust me. That's from me to you. Who's number one, Lindsay?
Becky
Almost went out of
Lopez.
space. Becky Lopez. Becky from the block Lopez. I'm going to write block Lopez. And very timely, I don't know if she did it before or after because I didn't jot down the date, about COVID-19 and colleges and universities. It's an issue. You know, the pandemic is raging. Do we send kindergartners and first graders back to school? College students? You know, right now they're saying yes. You know, we don't know. Is it a good idea, bad idea? What are the motivations? That's what I want to know from you. I created a extra credit opportunity on D2L for both classes, ethics and current trends. So I hope you ethics people hunt around. It's not on Packback, it's on D2L. And I want to hear from a student perspective what your feelings are about face-to-face classes restarting in a couple of weeks on campus and in our either at colleges and universities in general or Dalton State College. Either way, you're for it, against it, don't know, have questions, wonder about this, you wonder about that. However you're feeling about it. I would like to know from your perspective. I know what my perspective is and my colleagues, and I read what the administration's perspectives are, and I see college presidents on television and on the internet. I know that. I want to hear from you. So if you go to the discussion board on D2L and do that for me, you can earn up to 10 points on your second exam that I will add to it if it's good. If it's pitiful, you may get 1 point. It won't cost you anything, no matter what you do. I skipped the honorable mentions over here, though, Lindsay, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Uh-oh, we can't have that. How many do we have?
We only have 2. Well, we have
Two
2
again?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, tied.
It's too many. I just like saying that.
Cody Burgess.
Cody.
Kim Lee.
Kim Lee. Now, Kim's usually in our top 5. She slipped down a little bit. Kim, I hope you're not sick with the virus. No. So, there we are. We're 5 weeks into the 8-week run. And Leo, one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, is not down here today. I don't know why. He must be busy chasing a chipmunk in the backyard, which he thought may have been more important. Lindsay, what is our soundtrack for this week's Packback Leaderboard update?
We have Another Side of Bob Dylan.
Another Side of Bob Dylan, a classic Bob Dylan record that everyone should have on some form. And I'll see you next week on the internet.